Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for making it for this lovely presentation. This is the first one of the year 2021, yet another benchmarking session by Emirates Business Management. I welcome all of you. Thank you for having taken the time to come for this lovely session. We will begin today's session. As we all know, it is about how the organizations across the world have been coping with the pandemic situation. And now, in this session, we will have a few presenters. 7 companies have volunteered to make a sharing of their best practices through this session. The company names are, as I have shown you on the screen a little while ago, they are FEWA. Ms. Huda will be presenting from FEWA. From Oasis Investments, we have Mr. Krishna Kumar. From World Security, we have Nihal Khan and Sonia. From International Rubber Company, we have Shasti Dutt. From Deyaar, we have Jani Kumar. From Network International, we have Sabine Yusuf. And from Planet Pharmacies, we have both Shadi, who will join us shortly, and Mr. Hussam. So with this, I'll allow Huda to take over. Huda, please take the mic. The rest of us, we will remain on mute mode, please. Thank you, Huda.
Thank you, Indu, for your lovely introduction. My name is Huda Hadrami, and thank you for inviting us to the virtual EBM benchmarking event. Today, I'm here to represent FEWA, the Federal Electricity and Water Authority. Just to give you a small introduction about us, FEWA's main objective is to cater the needs of electricity and water for the population of the Northern Emirates. So we provide water and electricity for all the Northern Emirates, starting from Ajman, UAQ, Ras Al Khaimah, Fujairah, and Dibba. And we strive to provide the world-class electricity and water services with developing the necessary infrastructure and taking into consideration rationalizing the usage of electricity and water to promote sustainable development. One very important thing that with the recent changes in the UAE government, which was announced by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid recently, a few months back, FEWA has officially become Ittihad and Water Authority company, which works under the Emirates Investment Authority, and we are now actually in the transition period, but this did not affect any of the information that we're providing today. It's just an information that I thought everyone should know about FEWA as an introduction for this event. So these are our values: transparency, professionalism, teamwork, accountability, customer happiness, innovation, and creativity, and finally, employee happiness. To start with, one very important statement is during the pandemic, and everyone knows that electricity and water are one of the very vital resources here in the UAE. So we were one of the vital sectors that, because we were providing water and electricity for services for 24 hours every day. So we could not definitely shut down our offices or close our customer service centers for a very long period, or even our plants. So we had to go through 3 phases to manage the pandemic period. Phase 1 was preparing for the pandemic. Phase 2 was what we did actually during the pandemic, and that focused on 2 main areas. The first one is preventive practices, and the second one was happiness and well-being practices. Third phase was what we actually did during when we went back to offices and work went back to the normal life, and what are the results that we saw depending on the practices that we worked on during the pandemic. So these are the 3 phases that we will be talking about today. To start with, the first phase, which is preparing for the pandemic, as you know, and everyone I think have been through this period, the planning for working from home. The concept working from home was not in FEWA before the pandemic. So we started to in March to with 50% of our employees should be working from home, and we reached by May to 80%. And as we said, because we are one of the vital sectors, we could not go to 100%. That was not an option because we have a complexity of services, and we have to provide services to the customer 24/7. The second preparation was we had a very strong IT infrastructure. So even before the pandemic, we had already 12 smart services for the customers implemented, and we have more of the services which were implemented after the pandemic. But to start with 12 smart services, that was good enough for the customers to continue getting the service, even if we plan to shut down our centers. Then also we have some of our plants, power plants operated with no human interaction. So that also helped us in the pandemic period. And finally, our IT department has helped us, everyone in FEWA, to install all the needed online tools and resources just before the lockdown. So the work goes smoothly, and we did not face any kind of issues or problems. This what we did before preparing for the pandemic. The minute we heard that maybe there will be a lockdown and maybe we will need to implement working from home. Secondly, what have we done during the pandemic? As we said, we have categorized into two areas. The first area, the preventive practices. We provided gloves and masks in all FEWA premises. This might sound now simple. However, we're talking about the period where in March and in April, these resources were really out of stock and everywhere, but we have provided it to all of our offices, all of our premises, even plants, customer service centers, for all of our employees coming into to our premises. Secondly, we have scheduled sanitization activities on a daily basis. So every day when our employees goes out of the offices, we have a sanitization activity scheduled for ensuring that they are in a safe place, and when they're coming back to the offices, our offices will be clean enough for them, and we're protecting them from any kind of viruses. Then also we had built-in sanitization gates in-house from our services and IT department. They cooperated to do in-house sanitization gates, and we have distributed thermal screening solutions all over our premises. Also, we have minimized the entrances and exits of FEWA's buildings in order for us to control the interaction or not to spread the virus with lots of interactions. When the pandemic started, everyone was scared, and all the government medical health centers were fully occupied, if you remember, back in March and April. But even with all of these circumstances, and with insurance not covering the test or the COVID-19 tests, we have collaborated with some Bay hospitals to perform COVID tests for for our employees who needed it, and for all of their family members. And FEWA has taken all the costs, have paid all the costs for the employee and their family members during that period. So that was an alternative solution in case the government clinics or hospitals were fully occupied. Also in our plants, so as we said, we're a vital sector, so our plants, we can't just shut down our plants, or even our employees, we were literally very protective of these employees. So we assigned special places in FEWA's plans to accommodate employees. So we provided them with accommodation, food, and transportation from their accommodation place within the plants to the actual working place. And also, finally, all our internal and external trainings were converted to be online based. So by the beginning of 2020, FEWA has planned to have 30% of the trainings online, but because of the pandemic, by end of 2020, we have achieved 100% of our trainings online to minimize the danger of getting our employees getting COVID-19 viruses. That was for the preventive practices. Moving to the happiness and well-being practices, we have collaborated with Ministry of Health and Prevention to perform COVID tests in-house in our premises. So 140 employees chose to do the test in our premises, and the others, if they needed it or if they wanted to do it, they could have done it in other places, in the clinics or hospitals. But we collaborated with Mohab to do it in-house. Also, we have collaborated with them to do the seasonal flu vaccine. We've done it for 700, 300, almost 740 employees took the vaccine. And that was one of the practices that employees, even it was not related to COVID, however, they were relieved that at least they will not be getting they will be getting the vaccine, the flu vaccine, and at least they will not get the flu symptoms. Also, during the pandemic, when we were on lockdown, almost 80% of our employees were working from home. We have conducted coaching sessions, which supports employees' mental health during that period. It was in April, and 8 employees have participated in these coaching sessions. So they were one-to-one sessions with coaches from FEWA, and the satisfaction rate of these sessions were 97%. We purposely launched these coaching sessions during the pandemic period because we wanted employees to feel that we support them and their mental health means a lot to us. And finally, we supported the National Campaign for Mental Health, which was launched by the Program of Happiness and Well-being, which is used to be done by Prime Minister Office, and we have announced around 45 sessions internally to our employees to attend in different social media mediums. Also, we have collaborated with government and private organizations to do virtual discussion sessions. These sessions were focused on lifting awareness of mental and physical health and all the needed skills that will help employees to survive the period of pandemic. We launched around 15 sessions. 1,145 employees attended these sessions, and the satisfaction rate was 99%. Moving on, all of our employees who got COVID-19, when they came back to the offices after the 14 days or after getting a negative result, we send them all a welcome back e-card, and the number of e-cards were 100 so far. And finally, we have developed the Happiness Hub website. This website provides employees with articles, exercises, and the ability to choose a coach. And all of this was aimed to support their well-being, their mental health, and for them to know that we are there for them in this pandemic, and we can support them, support their physical and mental health as well. And these were the practices we've done. And now we're moving to the third phase, which is going back to normal life. Actually, I don't think we're still in the normal life, but I'm talking about normal life of getting back to the offices, all of us 100% back, and to showcase the results of the all the practices that we've done pre and during the pandemic. So all of our allowances and benefits had no changes. So we know that some of the organizations have taken some of the allowances or benefits given to the employees, but this did not happen with FEWA. No changes were done for employees' allowances and benefits. As I mentioned before pandemic, we had 12 services moved to be smart. After the pandemic, all of our services provided to customers were converted to be smart, and that was 22 services. Also, we did reports during the pandemic period, so months of April, May, and June. The productivity rate of our performance. FEWA's performance during this period did not change, which was 88% of the work has been done perfectly during the pandemic period. Our employees who got infected, all of them get paid sick leaves. So they did not take it from their leaves. We did not make them take it as unpaid leave. So all of them took it as paid sick leaves. And employees who contacted any confirmed case have the option to get work from home option based on the job demand and based on their manager recommendation and approval. And finally, during last month, we have conducted the Human Capital Department survey, and we have included questions only to measure employee satisfaction about how Human Capital Department have managed working during the pandemic. And our employees were 91% satisfied about how we handled the pandemic period and how we did manage to go through the pandemic period successfully. So basically, this is our presentation. Thank you all for listening. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And I have put all of our contacts also if you needed more questions at any time, at any point.
Thank you very much, Huda. That was a fantastic presentation. I'm certain that all the listeners have really benefited a lot by understanding what initiatives you have deployed and such marvelous innovative initiatives. I must congratulate you upon those. So if anybody has a question, if you can please unmute yourself and show a hand or something, I would be able to entertain that question for Huda.
Thank you, Huda. Thank you so much for the insight shared. Really, really amazing to know about FEWA. This is first time for me. So thank you for sharing all the efforts, especially the people part, where you've shared that you did not affect employees by any means. In the opposite, it was on top of your agenda. So I just wanted to say thank you for this. It's amazing to see a company like yours.
Thank you, dear. Thank you. Appreciate it.